Good morning, dear students. Welcome to Biology Lesson 5. In previous lessons, we discussed about nutrition and the digestive system. I hope you understand well. Even I share some documents in the group about the assessment and some type of works. Please check it, go through it. Okay, well, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is circulation and immunity. So you can see this chapter in your textbook, page number 36. So in the page number 36, you can see the chapter name, that is circulation and immunity. Well, today our lesson is the circulatory system. Before going to start our lesson, just imagine or let's observe your house. In your house, we have a system which can supply the water, isn't it? So inside of our house, there is some tubes which can supply the water to us, and at the same time there are some tubes which can drain or which can leave the wastewater, what we used, for example, we call as a drainage system. There are some tubes which can leave the wastewater. Means in our house, there are some tubes which can supply the water, or some other tubes which can uh, make through or go out the water what we use. So this we call as a plumbing system. Normally, in terminology, we call as plumbing system. Okay, just imagine if you turn off a faucet like a tap, what's going to happen? You cannot get the water, isn't it? In the same way, our body also have some tube system, like a tubes inside of our body. There are some tubes. So these tubes have the blood. You know already about the blood. So this kind of the tube system we call as the circulatory system. Why we need this circulatory system? So this circulatory system helps to supply the oxygen and nutrients to every cell in our body. That's why we need this circulatory system. Okay, let's have a look in this picture. So in this picture, you are seeing like all the tubes. So these tubes we call as blood vessels. The word is blood vessels. Whatever seeing these all the tubes on the screen inside of our body. So these all tubes we call as blood vessels. Well, this all system. So on the picture you are seeing in the center part of our chest, which we call as the heart. It's a heart, and other you are seeing all these red and blue tubes. So these tubes we call as blood vessels. So these kind of the system we call as cardiovascular system. So this all system, including these tubes, heart, and blood, these together we call a system we call as cardiovascular system. Let's see, the word is cardio. Cardio is heart, This is a heart. Vascular is nothing but the tubes. So inside of the tubes, there will be a blood flow. So this all, including this all, we call as cardiovascular system. So here you are seeing on the screen, your cardiovascular system includes heart. So here you are seeing heart, and second one is these tubes, which are in red and blue in color. These are blood vessels, and the third one is blood. So these three we call as a system, which is cardiovascular system. Well, what is the main function of this heart? This heart pumps the blood into blood vessels. This heart pumps the blood into blood vessels. Then what is the function of these blood vessels? So these blood vessels, so you are seeing on the screen, these are the blood vessel, one of the blood vessels. So inside of the blood, all you are seeing these small like these structures. So these we call as blood. Okay. So what is the main function of blood vessels? These blood vessels carry the blood to every part of your body. Okay. The blood vessels carries the blood to every part of your body. Then why the blood is necessary? So blood moves oxygen and nutrients to the cell and carries carbon dioxide and other waste away from the cell. Means this blood carries oxygen because we are breathing, isn't it? When you take the gas, air inside, the air consisting of oxygen. So this blood moves oxygen and nutrients. So when you take the food, in the digestion process, the food break down as small molecules or simple molecules, like for example, starch break down as sugars, fats break down as fatty acids and glycerols, proteins break down as amino acids. So these all simple nutrients, like the simple form of nutrients and oxygen will carry by the blood to the cell. Then there the cell use this both oxygen and nutrient and the release carbon dioxide and some waste. So these other wastes and carbon dioxide will go back to our lungs part. Okay. So simply we can say that blood carries oxygen and nutrients to the cell, and at the same time the blood carries carbon dioxide and other waste, carbon dioxide and other waste away from the cell. So this is the main function of the blood. So when the blood, so on the screen, on the picture you are seeing, this is a blood cell. So when the blood cell carries this both nutrients and oxygen, so this will enter into the cell, both nutrients and oxygen will enter into the cell. At the same time, so this carbon dioxide and cell waste will go back to the blood cell. So this process occurs in the form of diffusion and active transport. This a kind of process how This oxygen and nutrients will enter into the cell, and carbon dioxide and other cell waste go back to the red blood cell. So this is a kind of the process. Through this process, the oxygen nutrients will enter into the cell like body cell. At the same time, carbon dioxide and other waste will go back to the red blood cell. So here the word diffusion is nothing but the movement of molecules, ions, atoms from the area of high concentration to area of low concentration. So this is the word of diffusion. Somehow you have to make it very simple way. Just remember in a simple way, blood carries the oxygen and nutrients to the cell and carries carbon dioxide and other waste away from the cell. Thus you have to remember this one. Well, let's talk about the first part of our cardiovascular system. So on the screen, you are seeing the picture of heart. So your heart is made of cardiac muscle tissue. Your heart is made of cardiac muscle tissue. So normally, this heart is located behind your breastbone. So let's have a look of the other picture. So in this picture, you are seeing, so there is a bone in your chest wall. So these bones we call as breast bones or breast bones, or there is another word we call as sternum. Sternum. So here you can see on the screen the word is sternum. So your heart is located behind your breastbone, which is called as sternum. Normally, human heart has four compartments. Compartments means it's like a space, like a rooms. So these four compartments are called chambers. In a simple way, we can say that our heart has four chambers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, two upper chambers are called atriums. So here I'm gonna draw the first two upper chambers, 1 and 2. These two upper chambers called atriums. Atrium. The other two lower chambers called these and these. These both are called ventricles. I'm repeating again. Human heart has four compartments like a rooms. So these four compartments we call as chambers. The upper two chambers are called atrium. Two lower chambers called ventricles. So, well, during the heartbeat, when the heart is beating during the heartbeat, both atriums, this and this, contract, means they will close, like become uh, like folds. We can say it's a kind of folds. Both atriums contract at the same time. When the both atriums contract at the same time, the blood will goes into the ventricle. Did you understand? During the heartbeat, both atriums contract at the same time to push the blood into the ventricle. At the same time, then both ventricles also contract at the same time to push the blood out of the heart. Let me explain you again. During the heartbeat, when the heart is beating, both atriums contract like folds. Contract. The word is contract at the same time to push the blood into ventricles. Later, both ventricles also contract at the same time to push the blood out of the heart. Well, the blood flows in heart only in one direction from an atrium to ventricle. Let's say the blood flows only from one direction, like this, from atrium to ventricle. Then later on, then from ventricle to blood vessels. So when the ventricle contracts, so the blood will go out into the blood vessels. Means in human heart, the blood flow always in one direction, cannot be in a two directions. For example, on the roads, you can see always the cars and buses will go in only in one direction, isn't it? In a similar way, in the heart, blood always flows in one direction. How? From an atrium to ventricle, then from a ventricle to blood vessels. Even though this part and this part, it is same. Well, inside of heart, a one-way valve separates each atrium from the ventricle. So here you are seeing something. I am drawing the circles on the screen. So you are seeing something, this part. So this part is we call as valve. So a one-way valve separates each atrium from ventricle. So this we call as one-way valve. So inside of heart there is a wall. So you are seeing this is a wall. This wall separates this atrium and ventricles from, for example, left ventricle and right ventricle. This is left atrium, let's say, and this is right atrium. This is left ventricle. Okay. left atrium and left, sorry, let me make it clear. This is left atrium, this is right atrium, this is left ventricle, right ventricle. So there is a wall inside of your heart which separates left atrium, right atrium from left ventricle to right ventricle. So this wall makes the chambers inside of your heart. So this wall prevents mixing of blood, pure blood and uh, oxygen. Like pure blood means oxygen-rich blood, and bad blood is non-pure. Unpure blood is like oxygen-poor blood. So it will stop mixing of pure blood and impure blood inside of your heart. Okay, well, scientists have divided the circulatory system. All of in our body, we have the circulatory system, like including this heart, blood vessels, and blood. So this circulatory system have divided by the scientists into three sections. So one is coronary circulation, second one is pulmonary circulation, and third one is systemic circulation. Human circulatory system have divided into three sections: coronary circulation, pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation. So let's have a look of each section. First, coronary circulation. Well, on the screen, you are watching a picture of heart. So your heart or human heart has its own blood vessels that supply nutrients and oxygen to the heart. So these are the blood vessels. What you are seeing, all the tubes on the screen around the heart. So these are blood vessels. So these blood vessels supply the nutrients to the heart, and same time they supply the oxygen to the heart. So, and these blue color blood vessels also remove the waste from the heart. Like for example, these red color blood vessels supplies the nutrient and oxygen to the heart, and when the heart cells, heart muscles produce the waste, this waste will go through this blue color blood vessels to the lungs or the other excretory organ. So well, in a simple way, we can say that our heart has its own blood vessels. These are its own blood vessels to the which supplies the blood to the heart. So, well, if any blockage occurs in the blood vessels, any blockage occurs in the blood vessels, for example, there will be blockage here or there will be some blockage here, heart cannot get the blood. So once the heart cannot get the blood, heart muscles will not function. If the heart muscles not function, the heart stops pumping the blood. So this is the one of the reason most of the people getting heart attacks. You must remember, heart attacks caused by any blockage in the blood vessels which supply the blood to the heart. So this can lead the heart attacks. So normally these heart attacks we call with the using a word that is a angina. Angina is a word which gives the meaning of chest pain. Chest pain is nothing but there is a pain in your heart we call as chest pain. So this angina comes because of the low blood flow to the heart. So why the low blood to the heart? Now, just now I told you if there is any blockage in the blood vessels which supply the blood to the heart muscles, it can cause a low blood flow. For example, so on the screen, so let's say here there is a blockage due to the cholesterol. Okay, so the blood cannot go to the other part of the heart. So this can cause the low blood supply to the heart. So once the low supply to the heart muscles cannot pump the blood properly, means heart muscles cannot work properly. Properly. So this can lead the heart attack. So this heart attack we are using the word angina. Normally this heart attack will like the cure by the some kind of the surgery. One is we call as bypass surgery. So this bypass surgery has two types. One is balloon surgery and the second one is stenting. So during the balloon surgery, they will send a kind of some like machinery inside of your coronary, like into the blood vessels, which can supply the blood to the heart, and they will clear the blockage. Sometimes the other surgery, the one is stenting. Stenting is if there is blockage, okay, causes in the this part, they will put some material. So this type of the surgery we call as stenting. Okay, so these are the type of the surgeries which can do by the doctors during when the person get the heart attack. So this is about the lesson. This is about the circulatory system today. Well, we can continue the other sections, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation in a other class. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Take care.